Hey, it's Bailey Leisure back with another video. It's playoff time in the NFL as I'm going to be doing my predictions for the wild card weekend. I got some special guests. If you've seen him on this channel before, Durgesh, and then for the first time, my good friend Sam Kim is on this. So we're going to give our predictions and thoughts on the wild card matchups this weekend. Starting off in the AFC, the number 3 seed, the Houston Texans, are going up against the number 6 seed, the last team to make the playoffs, the Indianapolis Colts. This should be a really good matchup. This is the third time these teams are facing each other, considering they're in the same division. What do you guys think about this matchup?
It's gonna be a good matchup. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been shocked by the Colts. I mean, I believe they started 1-5 and
Yes,
they finished 10-6. I mean, I did not expect that. I thought this would be a rebuilding year, and they wouldn't do too well. I mean, after they played the Patriots, they've been on a roll, and last on Sunday night the game they played was really good. I'm going with the Colts in this game.
you know, with the Colts in this one. What do you think, Sam?
Same here. I mean, what's amazing? What makes them so dangerous and so what's called kind of threatening to other teams is that they've been on a roll pretty much for the past 10 games.
Yeah, starting 1-5.
Yeah.
Being able to, that they're the third team I think in NFL history to start 1-5 and make the postseason.
Yeah. Also, for Houston, the fact that the last couple of games their defense hasn't been that well.
Yeah.
So, I would agree with Durgesh as well.
Yeah, I think this is I think it's closely, matched up. I mean, the factor is both these teams beat each other, and it was on the road, so the road team kind of has the advantage in this. I'm going to take Houston because I think overall, I think the big factor in this game is going to be DeAndre Hopkins, and that guy has been arguably the best wide receiver in the game this season, and I think the Indianapolis Colts are going to have that defense, even though it's played well behind them. I think they're going to have trouble containing him. I think he's going to be the big factor in this game. So I'm going to take the Houston Texans in this game. Moving on to the other AFC matchup, the number 4 seed Baltimore Ravens versus the 5th seed LA Chargers. A 12-win team is the 5th seed this year in the AFC. It's really weird considering the AFC is usually the weaker conference this year, but that has not been the case. So what do you guys think about this matchup?
It's tough to choose which team. You want to say something first? Do you have a?
It's a good matchup. I mean,
very good.
I don't even know who might win. I mean, I know the last time these two teams met, the Ravens won, but I feel like Los Angeles should be more prepared for this game.
Yeah, I think it's really close, and I think Philip Rivers, he has a lot more playoff experience. I think the big factor in this game will be Lamar Jackson because I think just being rookie and being he hasn't really played very well. I'm going to just tell you this. I think Joe Flacco, he's going to have to give a lot of advice for him in this game. And I'll give the Ravens, their backup, him and RG3, a lot of credit. They've done a very good job mentoring him this season. Ever since he took over, Joe Flacco, he's very being demoted. He's taken that. He's had a lot of humility being able to do that this year. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't know, but I guess so.
But that's just a little note. But I think this is a close game. I think the Chargers play a lot better than they did last time. But I think the big factor, Baltimore, both teams have a good running attack. But I think the big factor is the fact that Lamar Jackson, I think the better passer and quarterback overall is Philip Rivers. But I think Lamar, he has a lot more ways to make plays, especially with his feet, something Philip Rivers just doesn't do. And I think the fact is the Ravens, even though they didn't look that great against the Browns, I think their defense comes out and plays a lot better. And people are saying they have the most dangerous offense in the NFL, and I'd say they are defense. And I think that's going to be the big factor. So I'm going to take the Ravens. What about you guys?
I'll say the Chargers. Not just for the fact that if you just look at the roster in general overall, you can make an argument that the Chargers has a better has a good overall team based on how much talent they have comparing to the Ravens. Despite that, the Ravens has the number one defense right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say it'll be a close matchup by like a field goal. I'll say
Yeah.
the Chargers.
What are you, Durgesh?
Chargers.
So these are close matchups in the AFC as we move on to the NFC, where I think they're pretty close as well. The third seed Chicago Bears and the sixth seed Philadelphia Eagles are really, especially the way the Eagles started the season, it's really surprising that the defending Super Bowl champions even made it in. And then the Bears, they've just been changed really defensively by Khalil Mack. And what are your takes on this game?
It could be one of the surprising results out of the wild card games because obviously with Nick Foles and the Eagles, you wouldn't expect them to even make it into the playoffs.
I mean, and it's not like they changed quarterbacks. Carson Wentz went down. Nick Foles, this is possibly the swan song for him for the Philadelphia Eagles. Considering I think they're probably most likely going to move on from him. I think. The big factor in this is the Eagles have much more experience than the Bears. This is a lot of, Trubisky, he's a second-year quarterback. A lot of young components. Khalil Mack, I think, has only seen the postseason once. I think, the big thing, though, is Nick Foles is coming. He's got bruised ribs, and this is obviously not a good matchup for him with that injury. But the fact is, this guy just knows how to go down a hot streak. You look at what he did last year, having, 10 quarters, what he did, torching, that second half, coming back from behind from the Falcons, torching the Vikings, and then outdueling one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in the Super Bowl. Nick Foles, he has that ability. And because of that, and because of experience, even though the Bears are probably the favorites, I'm going to take the Eagles in this one.
To be honest, I'm going with the Eagles too. They got hot now. They're hot now. They're on fire. It's like, I'm going with the team that has like the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, like, the Eagles' defense is also really doing good too. The past two games.
Yeah, they've been playing a lot better. Even though I think the Bears are the better defense, I think Eagles have a capable defense as well.
It could go either way, but I personally think the Eagles should win this game. They have the upper hand. Everything's going their way, but
even though they're going on the road.
Yeah.
Really?
These are outdoor teams, so weather is obviously not gonna be a factor. So what's your take, Sam?
Nick Foles did have a rib injury, and he's going to be playing, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, I'll say I'll go with the Bears, just because defense wins championships, and that also plays in the playoffs. So I'll choose the Bears, and I'll say this: if a defensive player has a fair shot of winning MVP this season, it would definitely be Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I would definitely. And then the fourth seeded Dallas Cowboys, kind of a surprise. I did not have them as a playoff team. Actually, to think about it, neither of these teams I had being playoff teams, the Cowboys and the Seahawks. And I don't know, man. Like, the Cowboys, these are teams that I don't have a lot of confidence in going forward. The Cowboys kind of got a little bit lucky this year. They played well, and they took their opportunity that they had. But if you look at it in the NFC East, the Eagles definitely underachieved. The Giants, didn't really have consistent quarterback play. And the Redskins, unfortunately, the Alex Smith injury pretty much just ruined their season. But the Cowboys, Dak Prescott was able to have a bounce back year. It really surprises me more that the Seattle Seahawks are in the playoffs, considering nobody expected them. The Legion of Boom was basically dismantled in the offseason. I expected them to be a little bit competitive just because of Russell Wilson, but they've had a consistent run game, and their defense has surprisingly played very well. Not Legion of Boom standards, but has done the job this year. What are you guys' takes in this game?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked that Seahawks did good this season. They started 0-2. They lost to the Broncos in the first game by a touchdown, and also the Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Italy, they got on a good run. I mean, they were also in 2 close competitive games with the Rams. So this team's not a fluke. So I mean, this game is going to be really interesting with the Cowboys. I mean, I just don't know how Dak will play. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember the last game was with the Packers. I feel like he didn't do that much. I think it was like Merv Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This will be an interesting game.
I think the thing is with Dallas is, obviously the history of this franchise, and since they won their last Super Bowl, they've had 2 victories in the last 20 years. I think Seattle, they've obviously had a lot more of success. I think the thing with the Seahawks, though, even though they have a Super Bowl victory, I think the image of what happened the last time they made a deep playoff run being, Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, even though they're still a playoff team, I still have that memories of that Super Bowl and the fact that could have been a dynasty and they literally threw it away, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the past for now. But this is really all these matchups are really close matchups, and I think they're all going to be good games, or at least you hope so. Considering 2 years ago we had a terrible playoffs up until I don't know, there was one good playoff game, which was Packers Cowboys. Ironically, last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs until the Super Bowl. This is close. I really think the big factor in this game is going to be Russell Wilson, and I think that's why I think Seattle is going to win. I think they have even though obviously the Cowboys have Ezekiel Elliott, I think defensively both these teams are pretty on par, but I think Wilson's the big factor, and I think the vertical passing game they have is going to be a big factor, and I'm going to take the Seahawks. What about you guys?
Seahawks too.
Well, I have to pick the Seahawks.
Yeah. And that's it for my wild card week picks. I thank these 2 guys for joining me. Going to be back with another video, or actually this is probably going to be released second. So if you haven't seen it, my just regular season thoughts. I'm glad to be back on my channel. As always, follow me on Twitter at BaileyLaser96. If you like the video, click like. Subscribe if you like the content on my channel. And leave your comments below on what you think is going to happen this weekend. And who do you think will win in the 2018-19 NFL Playoff Wildcard Weekend. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you all later.